Hi guys, I'm Vidi and I hope you have a great day. I sure am, because I found out how OBS works. Yay! And I also started drawing my little creepy spooky stuff, aka the stuff that I love drawing the most. I don't know why, it just brings me comfort for some reason. And also, anatomy gets boring after some point. Not saying that I am done learning anatomy, I'm sure I'm not, but you know, switching it up is quite fun, at least in my opinion. So, with the OBS also comes rapid zooming in and out. Yay! I think I managed to keep it to an okay minimum. I mean, I need to zoom in and out no matter what, but I think if it is done too extensively, it gets very strobe lighty, very fast. I find that pretty tiring for the eyes, especially when it comes to the colored parts where I start putting in my base colors that are nonsensical. I tried keeping it to the minimum. I even tried remapping my hotkeys on my little remote. It did not let me change zoom in and out. That is the one thing that you cannot change by the express keys, sadly. However, I remapped my back and forth, so it should keep it to a minimum, and I also cannot accidentally touch zoom in and out. I cut some tiny parts out where it's getting very stroby, but otherwise you get now the full thing, and you can also see what I'm using. On the left there would technically be my tool history, but since it's just scrolling through at sonic speed, I decided to keep that one out. It is very fast. I mean, if anyone wanna hazard a guess, I'm not going to spoil it immediately, how much time that whole illustration took. Be free. Spoiler alert, 20 hours. Yeah. So, it is moving very fast on the left because sometimes I make tiny strokes or I do just one stroke, redo it, redo it, redo it, redo it. You know, you want to have the perfect curve with the perfect thickness. And sometimes you just don't get that for 20 tries. But that's the nice thing about digital drawing, you can just redo it. Now, I didn't really have a plan for what I wanted to do in the background. My first instinct was a hallway kind of thing, but once I had that shape, my brain went like, oh wait, this looks like a window, one of those cool church windows that are with stained glass and everything. So I was like, oh yeah, stained glass. That is, yes, stained glass, because I cannot do simple backgrounds. It's either no background or more than half than my time is spent on the background. No in between. That is the two options that we have. Just like church windows, I wanted to have a bit of meaning in the motifs. My first thing was maybe I want to have like a death signaling flower, so the one that is always an anime, the red one. They have a name, I will insert, I forgot the name. But that was a bit too on the nose. So I googled, and according to, I think, 2 or 3 sources, rhododendrons, especially red ones, are like come on, let me get the actual site so I can quote and also give credit where credit's due. Let me find it quick. I made a screenshot. Ah, here we have it. appleyardflowers.com says rhododendrons. I looked for flowers with bad meaning. It might not look particularly scary, but the ravishing rhododendron had a fearsome reputation in Victorian society. Which I was going for, like Victorian, that sounds good. Damn it, I should have put her in Victorian clothes. Well, too late now. Continuing, it signaled dangerous temptation due its sweet yet poisonous nectar, and was often sent as a warning sign. Not convinced by your best friend's new beaut? Drop her a floral hint that whispers, beware. So, that one sold me. That is according to the Apple Yard London. I don't know how reputable that site is, but I saw rhododendron on like I think 2 other sites, so I was like, apparently that is known, especially since the Victorian era was mentioned, and apparently Victorians could like write letters, but in bouquet form, which sounds super badass. If you paired certain flowers with other flowers, it meant something different. Probably not so hot take. I think we should bring that back. That sounds cool. I mean, if you're already sending flowers, why not skip the card that you sent with it completely and just tell what you mean with the flowers? Yes. I think that would be cool. Also, I was a bit stumped on what I would put in those tiny triangle parts, so I asked my partner and his answer was, why not crows? And I found that was a pretty good idea, so crows I did. They end up not looking very crowy, they're a bit too chubby. They're chonker. I wanted to say maybe they look more like a raven, but a raven is even more skinnier, I think, so they look a bit chunky, but that's okay. I tried to make realistic stained glass. I don't know if I managed. YouTube is trying to teach me how to make stained glass myself, and with every video I look, it's more like, oh I want to do that. But I also should not get another crafty hobby. I have too many. I only have so much space for weird craft supplies. And the struggle is real because it looks so cool. But yeah, so I'm contemplating if in 3 months there's a video of, hey guys, my first time trying stained glass. No, nobody would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Especially since many people make it look so easy, but it cannot be that easy, otherwise it probably would be way more common. I don't know, I want to try, but I also don't want to spend a lot of money on like a starter kit. I'm very tempted. Sculpting makes a lot of fun, and having something that you can hang afterwards is even cooler. But also we don't have that much window space in the apartment we are living in currently, so they would be hanging against the wall, so they lose a bit of their purpose. This is me currently actively convincing not to go and impulse buy stuff. Distract. Yeah, so I started out with just one flat color for everything in the stained glass part, so all the leaves are one color first, and then I go over. After that with, I think the leaves end up being 4 different colors, and also the flowers are like 6 different colors, and so on and so forth. So you use in stained glass different hues of the same color to create 3-dimensional-ish looking shapes. And also sometimes you just run out of one particular color. So I think that is pretty accurate. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, here goes me naming stuff. If you see something misspelled, no you didn't. No. Oh, it's so nice to see that sped up at 75 times the speed because I was struggling. Writing is hard. Who would have guessed? Also, the rhododendrons don't really quite look that right. I mean, the color and everything later is going to look pretty accurate to the real thing, but shape-wise, the petals are not quite there, nor are the leaves. The leaves should be bigger and more elongated, and the petals should look more like a bowl, like they are more closer together and not that far apart, but oh well, now it looks like a very red cherry blossom. I mean, that also doesn't fit quite, but I think If you know, you know, and if not, it's also okay. And look at the bobs! They are little chumpy birds. I love the crows. The crows, yes, I like them a lot. Oh, here comes me struggling with the colors. I was initially planning maybe I go a little bit more purpley with the color, but I decided against it, especially for the sake of the flowers, so they are as bright as they are in reality. And I learned overlays are extremely nice. I found one that is, I think, called Subtract, which doesn't completely invert all of your color, but something in that direction, and I really like it. But I decided against it because it didn't fit the purpose there. Basically, I put one very, I think a 10% multiply of yellow over everything, so it looks more cohesive. Now I wanted to have an extremely harsh shadow, but not completely backlighting, because I am going to duplicate the window in the back 2 times, so it's one in the middle, and you see the edge of the other 2s. Otherwise, I just would have drawn her in completely dark shadow, and you wouldn't be able to see the mouth anymore, and that's no fun, because I like that one. I was struggling a bit with like finding out what kind of tools I wanted to use. I really like the texture of the rough wash watercolors, but also it's really hard to control and you can't just layer the way I would like to layer, so I end up going with the spray paint soft brush. I found that was a little bit easier to control, even though I really like the texture that the watercolor tools give you. But I also heard that you can do texture over your whole painting in the end. I have not found out how that works yet. I want to find that one out, because that sounds like a cool option, so you can use whatever tools you want without the weird layering that comes with the watercolor brushes in Clip Studio Paint. Maybe there are also just different brushes that give you the same effect, so it doesn't take me as long and it's easier to control. Maybe I will find one that is along those lines. Maybe next time, maybe I will redraw this one, because I really enjoyed my time and making stained glass was extremely fun. Even if it looks like a lot of work, if you have the symmetry tool in your art program, you are set. I don't know how you would achieve the same effect when you go traditionally. Probably with like light washes of watercolor you could achieve something similar, but making a symmetric window is a lot more to ask traditional than just slapping that symmetry tool in there. Oh, also, me trying to copy that window just to look if it would look right nearly crashed my whole computer. My PC was just like, excuse me, this is what you want me to do? No thank you. How about we don't? So I didn't. I ended up merging everything together and copying a whole folder where everything was in it instead of that one separate, because that completely crashed everything. I don't know why. I'm not going to question it. It worked. I'm happy with that. Also, look at the rim lighting. It looks so good. I love it. Now the teeth get a bit lost, especially since I don't put like extreme highlights on her teeth, but I think that would have looked weird, especially with the lighting situation. I'm very happy that I chose going with a more red hue because it looks so nice, especially the reflection in her eyes. Yes! It's nice when something comes out the way you imagine it in your brain. Now excuse me while I go back to my rainy lo-fi city, which I also need to color, because this was just a very long hiatus of I'm starting with a sketch and oh no, now it's a full illustration. Anyways, I will link that video in the end card and I hope you have a great day and I see you next time. Bye!